Wing it. Just wing it, just vibes. No content, just vibes. Okay? It's not you, it's me. Later is here. Later has come and gone. Have you done it? Hey wonderful people, it's me Angie. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are. This video is a game changer. It's on the worst student habits. I've done a lot of these. I know a lot of people who have done a lot of these, so it's no judgment. It's a safe space, okay guys? A safe space. But these are things that you should probably avoid doing if you want to do well at school. The first thing that I see students doing, a big mistake that I've seen from my experience tutoring, mentoring, all of that stuff, is multitasking in a bad way. So you guys know I always advocate that, like, if you're going to the train station or bus station, if you're moving around commuting, listen to a podcast, listen to a revision video, like do these things that you can do if you want to. But I mean, you're doing your integration homework whilst watching Phineas and Ferb, and that's not me calling myself out because I just watched all the episodes of Phineas and Ferb. But yeah, multitasking is something that you should avoid doing for the most part when it's two things that require a lot of energy, a lot of effort. I've done it as well, especially when I'd be like braiding my sister's hair, and box braids take time, so I'll try and watch a revision video on the telly, but it doesn't work like that because you need to put all your focus into one thing. So yeah, mistake number one, multitasking. The second mistake, which might possibly be the most relatable one, is I will just do it later. Later is here. Later has come and gone. Have you done it? Have you done what you said you were going to do? Maybe. I know in lockdown I had this issue for the first time because I've never been a let me do it later person. It's always, you said it today, I do it today. This, that, I can't do it today, okay, I've put it in my calendar, I'm going to do it at this time. It's never been later that's super vague. Later is a non-existent place. Later is like Narnia, like it's always going to be later, but will you actually get the thing done that you need to do? That's not saying do everything straight away. That just means make sure you are accountable to yourself and you actually write down when later is, because later being Saturday after you go out with your friends, that's feasible. You can do it Saturday, maybe before, because you might be tired, but I don't know your circadian rhythm, your body flows, and how energetic you are when you go out with your friends. Make sure you are just accountable to yourself. That's the main thing. So I'll just do it later. That's the second mistake that people make. The third mistake that I see people falling into, especially well-intentioned people who are really into StudyGram or StudyBlur or StudyTube, is only taking notes. Because I know there are some people who only ever show you when they're taking notes because their notes are pretty, they're aesthetic, and that's not faulting them or faulting you, but just taking notes isn't going to cut it. I know it can be nice, especially when you have all your new stationery. I just got new Muji pens, mild liners, like I've got a whole new set of stationery. Everything's looking cute. Everything's looking cute. But is that the most useful thing to do? Or could you do different things? If you've taken notes on the same topic 10 times, do you still need more notes on that topic? Realistically, look yourself in the mirror. And it's hard. You might have to also look your mild liners and aesthetic stationery in the mirror and be like, hey, it's not you, it's me. And mine needs to actually do well and not just do notes. I'm so sorry. It's difficult. It's difficult, I know, because notes can be nice to do because they're quite mindless sometimes as well. But yeah, just doing notes it's not a good habit. On the flip side, the other mistake people might make is just doing exam questions and nothing else. Which you guys might be thinking, but babes, we need exam technique to do well in exams. But if you don't know the content, how are you going to do the question? It's all well and good me saying, yes, I really want to smash this exam, so let me practice. But if you've not laid a foundation, if you haven't actually learnt the content, What are you applying? It's an application question, but there's nothing to apply with. What can you do? And it's a mistake that I've made as well, especially at the start of year 12. Before I'd even learned a lot of content, I was like, listen, I've got stacks and stacks and stacks. I've printed out the papers, but I can't do them. And I'm like, why am I so dumb? What's wrong with me? You're not dumb, honey. You just haven't learned the content, and that's okay. That might be one of the reasons you struggle so much with exam questions, because you never sat down to make sure you actually know the content, make sure there's not gaps in your learning, and you just said, wing it. Just wing it, just vibes. No content, just vibes. And that is not a good habit to get into, especially because it will really get you down and you will lose content. You will lose confidence in yourself because, oh my gosh, I get all these questions wrong. But is it because you're incapable of doing them, or is it because your approach is wrong? Just saying. And the final mistake that I see people make, and this is quite a personal one, it's difficult talking about it, but it's only using one source. And on the flip side, yes, if people use too many sources, they can get distracted. But I remember in one of the first tests in biology of year 12, everyone got this one question wrong because everyone was just using one revision guide from one certain company, and the diagram was a little bit unclear. The arrow made it look like it was about bonds in biological molecules. Long story short, everyone just put phosphate, or instead of phosphodiester, something small like that, or like an ester bond. And it was because of this issue with the revision guide. And I realized that if I had also looked at my textbook, if I had also looked at the diagram provided by the exam board in their specification, if I had looked at the YouTube videos I'd used to revise, if I had looked anywhere else instead of just relying on this one source, I wouldn't have made that mistake and I would have gotten that extra mark. And it still pains me. It still pains me to this day, but that's a really, really common mistake people make. And it also, especially if you're someone who, for example, is an essay subject person, if you're only going to one source, everything you do is going to sound like that one source. There's not going to be variety. It's not going to be spicy. It's not going to give what it needs to give. Okay, so make sure you do obviously stick to the right exam board asterisk, because you know, if you're a mathematician, maths is maths, so you can use anyone's resources when it comes to actual like practice questions, for example. But yeah, that is a really bad habit to only use one source, because to be honest, if you use a variety of things anyway, you might get different perspectives, and that might help you if you have the option. Yes, some subjects only have one source, and in that case, I apologize for you guys, but honestly it means that, okay, this might not have explained it that well, like I kind of get it, but over here in this textbook it makes so much sense because I use a different analogy that I understood really, really well. Sometimes I don't understand the chemistry textbook, but when I go over to Allery Chemistry, all of his references, I get them. They're just, do you understand? So yeah, those are the worst habits that I see students have. How many of them do you do? I've done all of them at one point. I'll put my hands up. Are there any others you can think of? Comment them down below. If you can think of any other really, really bad habits that a lot of us might do that may not necessarily be very good for us. But yeah, as always, smile, subscribe, study hard, slay hard. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share it if you care, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye.